In this lecture, we're going to talk about conducting workshops. We're going to answer the question, why do workshops? And then talk about the importance of keeping a record of ownership. As a quick note and reference to our roadmap, this is going to be the last lecture in stage 3, creating a strategy. So why would we have a workshop? Well, it's important to understand that throughout an organization, especially large organizations, not everyone has the same understanding or level of buy-in. By level of understanding, I mean some folks may not even know what privacy is, what PII is, what personal data is. And so we want to level set. We want to establish a baseline for everyone that's going to be involved with the privacy program, either directly as a member of the team or indirectly as a member of the organization that needs to safeguard personal data. Also, there is not going to be the same level of buy-in, meaning that we may have people that understand very well what PII is, but they have not yet bought into the idea of its importance. And there may even be some folks throughout your organization that are very resistant to implementing privacy policies and procedures. They may, for example, see these procedures as an obstacle to carrying out their day-to-day responsibilities. And so with workshops, we are communicating, we are educating, we are establishing a baseline. And some topics for these early workshops, again, the body of knowledge is assuming here that we are building a program from the ground up. And so in these early days of establishing the privacy program, we're going to look at delivering Privacy 101 material. What is privacy? Why does it matter? What is personal information? What is PII? What is personal data? We may also educate folks on the legal and regulatory requirements. Again, if you're in the financial or banking sector, what are some of the penalties or consequences of noncompliance? And other topics on the training and education side may include the organization's use of data. Remember that we have a multitude of business functions throughout large organizations: human resources, legal, finance, marketing, human capital. And some of these organizations may deal with no or very little personal data. And so we want to educate those folks on how the organization collects, processes, stores, maintains, disseminates data, etc. We would also educate these folks on risks, obligations, expectations, and challenges. One example of a workshop that you might hold would be a privacy Q&A. This might not be the very first workshop you hold, again, if you're standing up a privacy program in an organization for the first time. Those early workshops would want to focus on education. But once you've had those introductory workshops, having Q&As, maybe something along the lines of no stupid questions might be useful. And here, this isn't no stupid questions, it's no stupid questions. What I mean is, there are no stupid questions that anyone could ask. Any question, all questions are acceptable. There's no such thing as a stupid question. You may also organize the workshops on a particular objective or learning outcome. For example, by the end of this workshop, everyone will know when a data protection impact assessment or DPIA is required. And that's your one objective. Keep it short and sweet. Maybe it's 10, 15, 20 minutes. And then you could measure the success of that workshop on just that outcome. When is a DPIA required? And if everyone can answer that question, success, you've won. Finally, it's important, again, in these early stages that you are keeping a record of ownership. You are documenting the roles and responsibilities of the privacy program. You are creating and retaining agendas, meeting minutes, and action items. Of course, if there are action items that belong to other people, you want to follow up and make sure those are being taken care of. This documentation can be really important in supporting any type of audits, whether those are internal or external, or any certifications. And a record of ownership also helps to support accountability and legal requirements. In this lecture, we discussed conducting workshops. Remember, we conduct workshops because not everyone has the same level of understanding or buy-in when it comes to privacy. The objectives of workshops are to establish a baseline and to train and educate. And an example of a workshop might be a question and answer session. Keeping a record of ownership is important because it documents roles and responsibilities. Records of ownership also include agendas, minutes, and action items. This documentation can support audits. It can also support accountability and legal requirements.